So I think the message there is focus on what you can do to connect and make, do with others, right? Like you'll because like the community or the viewers are your other. Like, what are they participating in? That's why you watch a video, because you want to participate in them launching $1 million worth of fireworks or whatever it happens to be.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. This is a new
everybody.
podcast.
It might have been like demon possessed. It was a fairly large, mutated-looking chicken.
We were born in the north, but we grew up in the south.
We learned all of our words from Pennsylvania.
And people are like, that's toboggan. That little toboggan
Not
there.
a toboggan. A toboggan is a sled. Okay.
0.3 inches, baby.
Dude, I can't take it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wacky Wonderful Wise Works podcast. We are here with a new guest episode and a new guest this week. And it's going to be a fun episode.
Yeah.
So, Dominic, introduce yourself to the people really quick.
No problem. My name is Dominic, of course, and I run kind of I don't even know what you want to call it. We'll call it a podcast or a blog, if you will. It's hard to say, but on Instagram, I am the mad scientist going all different directions, trying new things, and people seem to get a kick out of it. I don't understand why, but hey, I'm having a blast. So,
well, it intrigued me when I first I got on Instagram, and I was sort of doing a little bit of this and that, posting sort of my stuff and sort of looking for channels to follow that were like other than my friends. Mm-hmm. I mean, as much as I love my friends, but I saw your channel and I was like, wow, it's like it's like you're making new tools, I guess. And changing things. I like gadgety stuff, right?
It's funny because the experience was kind of this roller coaster. I started out doing things for me to help me with kind of overcoming kind of an addiction towards playing video games. I was playing video games much, like all the time, and I went completely cold turkey. I needed something to engage that problem-solving aspect of my brain. And I kind of went back to something that meant something when I was younger, which was, working with Legos. And what's the grown-up version of that? Well, for me, I've always liked tools, and I've always liked making things. So it seemed logical when I got back into that, these tools weren't working for me. So I started to put them together in unusual ways, and it was kind of fun.
What was, what would you say, what was like your first project? What really got you started off?
So it's interesting because I got a 3D printer, and when you try, and this one here, the Creality CR10, and it's so frustrating when you buy a 3D printer that's kind of not fully built. Like, you buy it because it's inexpensive, and then you have to teach yourself everything. So really, the first projects came out of 3D printing, and then kind of trickled down from that, because I saw so many designs on Thingiverse that were related to basically just useless tchotchkes, like things that you would never use for anything. They just get thrown in the trash eventually, right? And I was like, okay, why aren't people using this to make real stuff that's interesting, fun? And so I made some different things. At one point I was making actual full-size slingshots out of it. I got into the science behind elastomers. It's all technical, but the point is it was a fun thing. And I don't know when the whole multi-tool stuff came or the EDC stuff came, but at some point I think what kind of spurred that was actually something that happened to me from someone else in the community. I bought a wallet from a guy from Antique Gear Co. And I asked him, because I like to carry the Victorinox Manager as my pen. And he's like, hey, would you make one for me that worked for me? And he's like, oh yeah, of course, it's a great idea. And he sent me 3 just to test, like for free. And it was this first time experiencing, okay, like the community, not as like with big corporations, but with smaller people, smaller makers and creators in the community. And that just set me on this course. I was just so excited to interact with him. And then Randy, I think is his name. And then everyone else I met along the way. And that was sort of like momentum.
Well, you say that that it's, instead of looking at it as like these corporations and seeing the people, right? I mean, I think that's partially what really made me gravitate towards your channel, was that you were, not only were you making these tools and you were doing your thing, you were promoting other small channels, other people that are making things, and being really personable.
I tried to do that, and that kind of came out of a need that became very apparent very quickly. I don't know how, but there was at one point I was gaining 1,000 followers a month or more, and it was just this like, and you think to yourself, oh, you know what, I can review things and I'll get sponsorships and I'll make money and all that stuff, and that's when you kind of lose yourself and you do the wrong thing. And I came back around to realizing there is a general need for these companies, these smaller companies that are trying to use social media as a way to generate a business.
Yeah.
They need people to be advocates for them, that advocates for their own personal passion for something. I found Joseph Paul Barrow, who's now has 16,000 followers. I found him when he had 400 followers.
Yeah.
And I found him because I was literally going through the multi-tool hashtag and just really going through like pages and pages and pages and pages, because I'm a researcher and I like to like see new things. I have a Pinterest page where I have saved all of the interesting ideas I've seen.
Yeah.
That's what I do. And when I found his stuff, I contacted him. We talked together. It was really cool. Showed some people. And every time I've done that or been able to do that, it's the best experience. And that's more interesting to me than being sponsored.
Yeah.
I try to only like repost people's content if they have less followers than me. The idea being that I'm giving, I'm trying to expose other, the people that follow me to those individuals, that I'm not trying to take away from them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I have a question. Kind of put you on the spot a little bit.
It's fine.
So you had to do this EDC thing. What's your everyday carry? I know it's probably different every day, but what's your main go-to? Do you have like a knife? You got like a pen? You got a flashlight? What's your go-to right now?
Yeah, it depends on how much time you want to have. But
yeah,
the first thing, everything for me starts with one of these hats, and I have about 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
But this is fully loaded. Believe it or not, you can't tell, but it is actually fully loaded with stuff.
Yeah.
And it's my day-to-day things. I actually have a charging cable in my hat for my phone,
Yeah.
believe
That's
it or not.
unique.
And a comb for my daughter, so that we always have it. I've shown that before. And my belt. My belt is like this core item. These are 2 items made by Wazoo, another awesome company.
Yeah.
That I just they don't need help from me, but they're just awesome.
Yeah, I'm rocking the Wazoo belt as well.
Is that the one you
Dude,
keep
the Wazoo belt
zip ties in?
is a game changer. I'm telling you. I've been wearing it since the Kickstarter.
Oh, wow.
I've not worn another belt since then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super
held up
awesome.
very, very well.
Yeah.
And made in USA. The belt is, the hat's not yet, but they're trying to do their best to make it in the USA. But the awesome company. Anyway. Yeah, so that's the baseline. And then it's everything tacked onto that.
Yeah.
But at one point I ran into this issue. Do you start with a knife or do you start with the multi-tool?
Yeah.
So neither one is wrong.
Right.
But for me, I started with a multi-tool just because I tend to tinker. So I need something that isn't a knife more often than I need the knife.
Yeah.
Right.
It's actually, I use a knife very rarely when I'm working with things. I need, and actually the reason I'm usually carrying one of these.
Okay. Yeah.
Is because of the hammer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you can't see this is the Leatherman signal. And for me, it makes sense to me what's on it. It's lighter and flatter than most of the other multi-tools, and it still has the one-handed blade. So for tasks where I wanted to just open a package or whatever it is, it just gets the job done.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that one you've modded?
So that's the basis, but really the most important item, of course, being the flashlight.
Okay.
I think even if you don't believe in the whole knife thing, I think most people can get a usage out of this every day, right? Would that be fair?
Yeah.
Like flashlights, you can probably use it.
I have a few flashlights, and actually I had the Olight. I think it was the SR1 Baton Mini or something like that. Yeah, the little one. And
it's funny. I was just talking to somebody about this. This is the new model. This is the S3 Baton.
Yeah, and I lost it.
I had to get it. I just knew.
I think it fell out of my pants, and actually I think it fell out of my pocket when we were on the beach.
For real?
Yeah, because me and Joe started running across the beach. So I just lost it this last weekend. So, yeah, that sucks.
Wyatt,
this one would annoy me, but if I lost this light, I'd be really, really sad.
Yeah,
some of the people in the EDC community, they go much, much further than that.
Yeah.
You see things like the Akluma DC0, $600 to $900, depending on.
Yeah, I don't want to spend more than. I mean, I'd spend a little bit on a flashlight or a knife, but I'm usually trying to stay under like a budget.
Yeah.
So
Wyatt, he's more into the EDC than I am, but I'm dabbling more.
Yeah, you're getting. He just bought a Benchmade.
Yeah,
I just bought a Benchmade. Which one is that?
I have I don't know if you can see this very well. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that one. Nice and thin.
Yeah. I like the thinner, more
low profile.
Low profile, yes, slender. Because I think it's more of what I like to carry. I don't like my pockets to be super full.
And you're certainly in the more common vein. I think I'm definitely on a different scale. I tend to carry far more than most people. In addition to this very large multi-tool. Well, some would call it far larger. This is my normal knife.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's the Vero. Yeah,
this is the Synapse XL. So this is a I think it's 9 inches overall.
Yeah.
In fact, closed, it's actually longer than
the multi-tool
Signal.
Yeah.
I've been following them as well. I probably started following them because you followed them.
Right, and I appreciate it. He's awesome anyway. I mean, I'm all about his stuff. I wish I could recommend the knife. You know what the problem is? I can't tell people how good it is because there are none to be purchased.
Ooh, really?
Like, ever.
They're just always out of stock.
Knife, there was 600 of these, okay?
Oh my god.
They sold out in 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes, they were gone.
How much was that one? I don't remember. I know I looked at it.
MSRP was $397, I think.
Yeah, and they're gone.
Yeah, just gone. And the integral, I think that was like 500, and that one went instantly.
So fast.
Yeah.
And I know they make good stuff. So.
But it's not even the fact that it's made by Best Tech, which is a great company that makes knives. It's because of the people. Like. People want to participate in the excitement and the designs of somebody who's passionate about it. Like Joseph is passionate about his designs. When I carry a Giltech Ruck, I know that guy. I know he's passionate about his designs. And I think that's what I didn't expect. There's a very passionate group of people, creators, who make these things. And so you carry not just it as a tool, but you also carry it kind of as have a representative of that.
It's also a piece of art too. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, for some people it's more art, and for some people it's more functionality. If you get the best of both worlds, you can't really go wrong.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool to see how many different takes there are on it. And one of my favorite pictures I ever saw on Instagram was actually was a gentleman in his 60s, and he was carrying a passed down pocket knife, passed down lighter, and I'm trying to remember what else. But the point is it had such a story behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool that things can have, real value, because they are also reminders of things we want to aspire to as well.
Yeah.
Like if it's somebody who we looked up to or whatever.
I always use this word patina. You probably are familiar with the word. But I always use it in a sense of I want to get the patina of other people and experience like their patina and the roughness that they've experienced in their life.
Yeah.
I almost use it as a sense of their personality rather than their just as an object of getting patina.
Well, I've certainly been guilty of playing it too safe with things I carry,
Mm-hmm.
but I try my best to actually put real work patina on items that I actually carry, because it's, first of all, it's a great measure of how much I like something.
Mm-hmm.
When you EDC something, the more you use it, the better the more, well, first of all, the more capable you become with it.
Yeah. I've been carrying a black Boker Kalashnikov for quite a while now, and it's all just like aluminum handle scales, and the way it wears, the paint just sort of slowly wears off, and it gets that Boba Fett look. I bought the green one with the red pocket clip so that it would look really Boba Fett when it starts to wear in. Yeah, I love the look.
I think it's a slippery slope with EDC, because when you start paying attention to materials is when it gets expensive really fast. Like if you've never seen what zirconium looks like when you flame it, when you actually put a torch to it. Have you ever seen what zirconium looks like?
I don't think I have, no.
It goes from this like really like matte gray, like a dark titanium, to black glass.
Oh wow.
I mean, it looks like glass, but it's metal.
Huh. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's because zirconium, when you mill it, its powder is very, very reactive with other things that people. Yeah, so it's not something people do often. Plus, it's purely for looks and not really functional. Anyway,
how this is sort of taking it in a different direction, but how often would you say that you spend time just modifying Leatherman tools? Is it something you do often, or do you look for a project to make?
I get into like little bursts of it.
Yeah.
What ended up happening is I got frustrated not having the right tools, so I started modifying them.
Yeah.
And then I started accumulating a lot of parts, like too many.
I noticed that. I was watching the live the other day, and you have a lot of parts.
I got a lot of parts. I have about, I have 3 Surges, 2 Super Tool 300s, 3 Waves, and 3 rebars that are in pieces, not including what you saw in the boxes.
Yeah.
So those boxes have like pieces as well. So my goal at this point, having done my research, is to build them. So you're going to see a lot more in the near future, because I'm going to be building them and then lottoing them off. So I can't give like one, just pick somebody myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, if you want this is how much it's going to be, type in, and we'll select randomly. But I'm going to try to get rid of all of my parts as much as possible. What I'd rather be is not a service. I'd rather more be informational, where people can do this themselves, and I'm more than willing to help them learn how to do it.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to just be like taking apart tools and putting them together and then selling them or giving them away or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not really. I did it not for trying to make a profit on it. Also, you run into a whole bunch of issues with Leatherman. I don't want to go down that route. But now that I know more of what I want, like all of the multi-tools I now have determined I'm going to fit in one vault case.
Yeah.
Everything else, literally anything outside of that, is getting sold.
So So do you plan on what do you plan on doing as far as I don't know, like making tools with both Leatherman and with like do you plan on doing anything else like with the 3D printer and just making new stuff?
So the 3D printer is the way I have it set up is very limited in what I can do relating to the multi-tools.
Yeah.
The components are too they don't bind well enough to be used for functional parts. If you want a functional part that's 3D printed, you really need to use a service like Shapeways to get it printed. They do have glass reinforced nylon parts.
Oh, wow.
And those parts are stuck together by a laser. So they have very, very, very good adhesion. And so you could technically use those in a Leatherman. But as far as the parts I'm concerned, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to start by building things that make the most sense. And then I'm going to have a bunch of miscellaneous leftover parts.
Yeah.
And that's where things are going to get weird, because I'm going to either, if I can make something, I will, and see if it sticks. And if I can't, then I'll probably just sell the parts to somebody who actually wants to do their modifications.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't want to stockpile the parts.
What tools would you say you would need if you wanted to get into it? Because I've thought about modifying some myself.
Well, most of the tools are pretty straightforward. You need some security Torx. You'll need, if you saw what I did, mostly at this point, I don't even bother clamping what I'm working on.
Yeah.
When I do it, I tend to hold it in my hands or between my knees. I'm just moving too quickly. I tend to take it apart, put it back together very quickly. So I don't slow myself down. But the most difficult part you're going to need if you modify tools that have those unusual nuts is parsing wrenches.
Yeah.
And there's only one person as of right now that makes them, and he's in Russia.
Yeah. Yeah, I was there for that part, and
you can buy them on eBay. He sells them on eBay, but you're going to have to wait about 2 months to get them. Not that they're that expensive.
Right.
It's that you're going to have to wait some time. So you have to really commit to that. But yeah, that's the big thing. Once you get that, the rest is just getting some security Torx, which I think is pretty inexpensive. I considered doing a video on the tools you need for this.
Yeah.
Which I may do. I may still do that. But the problem is I can't be like, hey, go buy this, part that's going to take you 2 months. It's kind of tough to say that.
Yeah. I had a guy that I met through my job. I work at Lowe's. An older gentleman that he was retired, so he just decided to make these like crochet hooks, and he started selling them online to like people over in England. And he like made
making them out of what?
Parts that he would get at Lowe's. He would modify tools and stuff to just make these crochet hooks, and he was selling them to people just on the side because he was retired and stuff. And it was so interesting to just hear him talk about it.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get into something like that where I'm making something that people want, or I'm doing what you do and giving information, teaching people, how to do stuff on their own. But I haven't found it yet. Right? I'm circling.
So one thing that became incredibly clear when I started 3D printing is that the demand for people who have design skills is insanely high.
Yeah.
If you have the technological expertise to design something in CAD, the actual production part of it can be outsourced to almost anywhere. The problem is in design. When you have the chops, like you saw, Joseph Palvero was, he worked at a drone design studio, and he had the chops engineering-wise to design a knife. And when he when he 3D printed his first design, it worked exactly the way this works. I mean, identical in every way, actually works. And so if you have that skill, it's great. If you are a woodworker and you understand the texturing, the geometry, and all of that stuff, you have a skill that can carry with you. It's like when you get you get a degree or whatever it is. It's always hard to get it done, to figure out something, but it's always marketable. And that's the cool thing, is you pick the right skill. Like my wife is doing a lot of sewing right now because she's enjoying it. Well, that's a powerful skill. I mean, at this point with the sewing machines we have, we could make bags. I picked up some leather stuff. A friend of mine, Jonathan over at Redeem Creations, he had some leftover scraps of leather, so I can start to teach myself some leatherworking stuff.
Yeah.
So that's cool. The more skills you have, the more capabilities you have, the better. And that's sort of an adventure in itself.
When I first moved here, I just moved here about 3 months ago from Georgia. We're in Virginia Beach. I didn't have a job, so for what was it, about a month?
Yeah.
For about a month, I was basically doing nothing but looking for a job and filling time with just making things.
Yeah.
I think I carved a bunch of different things. I carved a little bearded man into a stick. I carved a bunch of sticks for something that my buddy's wife was working on. I made
a couple crochet hats.
I made like 3 hats.
Yeah, crochet
I made
hats.
3 hats.
Started
I'm
on
still
a
working on a
blanket.
scarf. I mean, just making stuff while I was bored, right?
Keeping your hands busy is always a good thing.
Yeah. But I mean, I definitely want to get into something that's a little bit more substantial. If I'm going to spend time creating things, which I love doing, I feel like I should probably get into something a little bit more substantial, or at least find something I can really get behind, because sometimes it feels like it sways right back and forth. Sometimes I want to do woodworking. Sometimes I want to, do some crocheting or some sewing. Sometimes I want to, do a little bit of this or that, and I can't find what I want to make.
Yeah.
You just have to keep pushing towards it. I mean, much of the reason why I'm trying leatherworking is I was getting frustrated about, like, I wanted this design to exist and it doesn't.
Yeah.
You start out by like, I have a problem and the solution does not seem to be presenting itself. Like, it's just not around. It's not there.
Can you share what you're...
okay, so how do I solve this problem? And then you backtrack.
Yeah. Can you share what you were trying to make? What are you trying to make leather-wise? Like...
Oh, well, you saw the leather. At one point I made a leather notebook organizer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
What I did is I started out making it in a combination of duct tape and acetate. So acetate is a clear backing. It's that same stuff you put transparency films on. So it provides that no stretch and no tear situation. And then the duct tape provides the abrasion resistance. So combined, they function very similar to leather. Once I established the design, I actually designed it in 3D CAD in a flat way for design drawings. And then I was able to send it to my friend, and he printed those out and was able to quite literally take it and cut out the leather exactly as stated with the stitching and reassemble the whole thing, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool to see something come to pass. Like a knife, for instance. I actually designed a knife, and it came to reality. It was like mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't show people this knife, even though I carry it all the time, because it's hidden. It's hidden inside my belt.
Okay.
And it actually was designed specifically for that purpose.
Yeah. I saw
That's awesome.
I saw the 3D printed stuff of this.
So this
cool.
knife is made out of a steel that is very rare in the knife community. So this steel is the same as found in this knife here. Oh, that was embarrassing. We're having an issue here. So this is the Spidey Chef.
Yeah.
And the Spidey Chef is made out of an amazing steel designed by NASA in collaboration with a company in Germany back in the 70s. And it is a nitrogen-based powdered metallurgical steel. And it almost has zero corrosion at all.
Oh, wow.
Like, it doesn't corrode at all. There are some that are a little bit more corrosive resistant, but from a survival knife perspective, when I did my research, this made sense. Seeing it come to pass in that steel was so cool. Like I found, friends of mine collaborated on the design. They knew a guy who did, who actually had a knife shop, could actually produce the knife. And then we got 4 of them made. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Is it hard to cut because it's so like or like how, like to shape it?
Before it's heat treated, it's no different than any other steel for the most part. So believe it or not, what makes this steel particularly interesting to me from a chemistry standpoint is it has incredible edge retention, yet very easy to sharpen.
Yeah.
And the combination doesn't happen. Like when you look at something like when you look at something like this is M390.
Yeah.
It's got amazing edge retention. The problem is it only is going to get sharpened on a diamond, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a knife that's CPM3V, and I don't want to have to try to sharpen that myself because
thankfully CPM3V compared to M390, CPM3V is very easy.
I mean, I keep it sharp with like a ceramic rod and a strop, so I haven't actually had to sharpen it, but I don't think right now I have the equipment, right? I mean, I just have I have like a work sharp, the little portable sharpener, and that's about it. I need to invest in one of the other ones. Actually,
there's a lot of people. So I have tried to explain this to people. I'm not a like a professional or like an expert in fields in one thing or another, like whether it's multi-tools or blade steels or leather crafting or anything. What I am good at is research.
Okay.
I know where to find the information. I know who they should go check out. I can direct them from here to there, and so on.
Yeah.
Things I've learned. I never try to claim, okay, I'm an expert at this, I'm an expert at that. Because I'm not. But knowing all of those pieces together is actually kind of cool, because you start to see, well, why don't they combine this thing with this thing? And then you try something. And it's like, okay, this is really cool.
Yeah.
I still have yet to see this steel show up in a full-sized fixed blade kind of like survival knife.
Yeah. Is the steel rare, or is it just?
No, it's not. Believe it or not, it's not actually that expensive. The problem, they recommend that you treat it, when you heat treat it, it needs to be in a neutral atmosphere. In other words, it needs to be surrounded by nitrogen.
Yeah.
However, there is a secondary way to do that, and that is once you've heat treated it at the right temperatures, you can then grind a very thin amount of the metal off the steel after it's been heat treated, and then it works fine.
Huh.
Which is what they did when they made my knife, that smaller knife, and it makes the process relatively simple. So it's actually not as hard to do as you would think. And what makes 3V, like the steel you have, so good is it's so tough, right, that it doesn't chip. So when you go to sharpen that knife, you pretty much just need to strop it.
Yeah.
That's what makes 3V so good, right? Is you just like strop it, we're back up to razor sharp, go. Very hard to chip that steel. What shocked me is when I saw some of the research articles on this steel. Actually, it was sort of an accident. I was researching S45VN, and they did some metal testing on this one as part of their checking all the different ones, and it was 4 times as tough as LMAX. Okay. And why that's interesting to me is they use LMAX in survival knives.
Yeah.
We've never seen a survival knife in LC200N ever. It's never existed. I'm actually strongly considering selling $500 worth of knives to get a custom survival knife made in this steel.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
But the only problem is I got to get one made identically in 3V and LC200N, so we could do real testing.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a cool video.
A lot of money to invest.
Oh man. So you since I started following you, at least on YouTube, you've had I would say a significant jump in subscribers. I don't know how long I've been following you. It's been a minute. And you've been putting out a lot more stuff. Do you see yourself pursuing the video form more than like the Instagram stuff?
Instagram is a dead platform.
Okay.
In truth, like most of my growth happened before the December 2019.
Okay, yeah.
January of 2020, literally, like, everything went to zero.
Okay.
They have destroyed the algorithm to such an extent that if you are trying now, no matter how good your content really is, you're in a world of hurt to try to make any real progress.
Yeah.
The reason I'll probably never get off Instagram is the reason to have it now is not for my growth. That's not the reason I'm on it now. At this point, it's about how I can assist others as best I can, and also maybe inspire people to try new things, which was sort of the beginning process as well.
Yeah.
But YouTube is a better track as far as growth.
Right.
But I'm not growing that fast, believe it or not, on Instagram. On YouTube. I'm not growing that fast. And I think a lot of people want me to do these really in-depth kind of content videos. Problem is, those take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I don't have that kind of time.
Are you working a normal job as well?
So right now I'm not working.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I'll be going back to work. I need to create a situation that's more sustainable. So it would be better to do, well, one thing I considered was doing something like this where I got on and we talked about different stuff. But what it would be more focused on is actually how to enable small companies to get bigger outreach. Like, it would be more focused on being content for companies, less like small businesses, rather than for the EDC community.
Yeah.
That's kind of a separate thing.
Yeah, that's good though. You know what you want to do, and now it's just taking it, to the next level, I guess. And I sound like I got my stuff together, but let me tell you, like, I am a scatterbrained person, and I started the Everyday Creators Guild, which is what I wanted this to be.
Yeah.
And I haven't taken that full step to commit to that kind of time, because I really do think there's a need for some combination of smaller businesses working together and also influencers working with small businesses as a group.
Yeah.
Right now, I think for instance, let's say we had, instead of doing one large giveaway, we had a collaborative event that was being run by 6 or 7 major influencers at the same time.
Yeah.
That works up towards one big thing. You can only do that if you have a group of people willing to kind of do that, collaborate. So it may not work, but at least it would be worth trying. Yeah,
I've only seen a few giveaways it was just like an expansive amount of stuff, and the stuff was, made up of, some bigger company names and then some smaller, 1-person, 2-person operations, and where it's been across a bunch of influencers on Instagram. I haven't seen a lot of those, but it's. I tried to do that EDC draft back in November last year, and I thought it was going to be so much bigger, so much more exciting than it was. And what I realized after looking at the numbers is that the algorithm literally crushed that event. Yeah.
Like, it just crushed it. I had 300 different people mentioning that post on all of their stuff. So you would think I would get a good, at least, even if people weren't interested, at least people would see it, right?
Right.
I only had 3,000 people actually seeing it.
Huh.
I had 5,200 people just following me along.
Yeah.
The numbers don't make any sense.
Yeah, it's a weird algorithm thing. I was like, are you gonna?
No,
do you
you're
have a
good.
thought? Oh, okay. Yeah, we've sort of been on a similar journey.
Mm-hmm.
We're all working full time.
Yeah.
And trying to build our channel. We've been doing the podcast and trying to find other things that we know is going to work, right? Videos that are going to be picked up by the algorithm on YouTube that, you know, are going to bring value, right? Something that people can watch over and over again, something informational. But, you know, where our thing is mostly like entertainment, films.
Yeah.
And we what the guest podcast is getting people who are creative, getting people who, you know, have maybe built a following, or have interesting stories, and trying to do a similar thing of just spreading our what's the word I'm looking for? Come on.
Our viewership, or
Not the viewership, but like what people want to see.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because if people enjoy your video, right, we can sort of
show people their patina, as I like to say.
We want people to see the creators, and we want people to, you know, find what they like, you know. And
it's a hard thing to do. I think genuinely you have to start with something that frustrates you personally, not something that you see other people wanting to see. You have to find something that first and foremost that you're going to put the kind of effort into to make your thing.
Yeah.
Right. Every successful YouTuber, every successful Instagrammer had their thing.
Mm-hmm.
They had something they were incredibly passionate about. I've been obsessed with this channel on YouTube recently. It's this guy called the Mink Man or whatever, and he raises minks to hunt
yeah.
like pests, like in different things, and dogs and stuff. And I don't know why, but he has a narrow focus on what he's doing.
Yeah.
And that content fascinates me, and they're not heavily, what I like about it is they're not overly produced, right? They're not crazy, that it's just, here you go.
Yeah, the guy's passionate.
Exactly. And I got some pretty good advice from Dustin over at Wazoo. It's like, stop trying so hard, just get it out.
Yeah.
And the most successful videos tend to be short, passionate, and just get it done.
Mm-hmm.
The videos that end up doing well on my channel, I sometimes don't understand. Like, I have a video about the Leatherman Crunch kit, wasn't even very good. And it's got like 10,000 views for some reason.
Yeah.
And like sadly, anything negative, or if I'm like attacking somebody, like for instance, Olight had this whole thing with their Warrior Mini about the bird. Well, of course, I had to throw my 2 cents in about that. And that stuff blew up pretty fast.
Yeah.
You know,
people are looking for that. They're like, people see something that goes wrong, and then they look for that, like those videos talking about it.
Well, yeah. And I completely get that part. Like when I saw that the Leatherman Bond and the Leatherman Curl were coming out, I'm like, oh, pictures, let's see it.
Yep.
You know, and that's like a 1.5 minute video. It got like 10,000 views, like really quick. But the thing is you have to be ears to the ground to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of time devoted.
Yeah. Especially with working other jobs and you're
I'm going back to teaching at some point in the near future. So I need to have something that I can actually do. The whole purpose for me, at least, is to establish a set of items, first and foremost, that allows me to help others. that's kind of how I stayed focused on it, because the moment I started thinking about, okay, what do I want for me? This is what happens. This is what happens when you start thinking about, oh, what do I want? And it stops being a tool and it starts being something else.
Yeah.
And I don't have any problem with anybody who chooses to do that. But by thinking in that way, I try to, it's been helpful to see what the gaps are.
Yeah.
For what I'm missing. Like I haven't even done a single bit of content on my backpack yet.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's because I haven't got it to 80%. Like I need it to be at least 80% happy with it before I'd even consider it.
Right. Yeah.
Like I have a travel toolkit that is hyper thought through, like with specialty tools and all of this, specifically designed for the kinds of things you can run into. And it's not quite there yet.
Yeah, you're passionate about it, but you're so passionate you want it to be perfect. I get that.
Yeah, but at some point, and it was what Dustin was saying, at some point you have to say stop it and just get it out.
Yeah, just pull the trigger.
Right? And there's a fine line between over obsessing and it's definitely one of those things.
Yeah, we've got a video coming out pretty soon. When did Joe give us a timetable on that?
The monster film?
The monster film.
A couple weeks, maybe.
Okay, he told us that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right, and I know he's busy. I know he's working on other stuff. But at some point, I know he's also a perfectionist.
Yeah, we got to get that film out there.
So if he could,
you build up an anxiety, and I speak from experience. You build up an anxiety towards the next thing, and sometimes the more meaningful that thing is, like an advocacy group for small creators, that's a meaningful thing you don't want to screw up. So the more that becomes true, the harder sometimes it is to just get started on it. Like I haven't pulled that trigger, but I do recognize that it's there. It's something that's always in my, am I ready to take that step?
I got you.
So don't overthink something. Some things that, like, especially with content, like I was watching some Mr. Beast stuff, and I've never watched his stuff till yesterday, ever. Because I was just fascinated. How did somebody get to 56 million subscribers?
Yeah.
Just like, why? And it's very obvious why. He does crazy stuff.
Yeah, he decides to do something and does it.
Yeah, he does it. Like, whether it's getting 900 drones to write stuff in the air, or spending $1 million on fireworks, or whatever it happens to be.
Or even his, like, the first few videos he had on his channel was like saying Logan Paul 10,000 times, or like 100,000 times.
Doing things.
Yeah, just doing, because he said starting out he had the time. He didn't have the money, but he had time. So he took what he had to create something for people to watch.
Yeah.
And
the truth of the matter is, a lot of times when you have money, you have no time. And time is the truest, most valuable item that is in the world.
Yeah.
Is the one thing everyone is looking to get more of. It's the one thing we never have enough of.
So we need to stop looking for money and looking for time. Yeah.
Well, and how you use it. Think about I think about how much time I wasted, spending how many hours on World of Warcraft back in Classic. Why did I waste so much?
WoW Classic will eat up all your time.
Man, I think to put you an idea, at some point, I was in one of the top 5 guilds in the country. At some point, I was spending 48 hours a week.
Yeah. I can't.
It's a full-time job.
It was a full-time job doing nothing.
Doing literally nothing, making no money.
Getting unhealthy is what was happening.
I
Ruining
tried.
my eyesight.
I tried. I tried putting all my time into video games. And I guess I quickly sort of realized that I'm not doing anything. I'm not even learning.
Literally. And let me tell you what happened. The moment Burning Crusade came out, I hit level 63, and I found an item better than my tier 3 piece that I spent 2 weeks getting, and I went flipped the table. And I'm like, this is crazy.
And see, the problem for me is when I play video games, I'll have a goal or an objective that I want, like an item or a suit or something, and I'm like, I am going to play till I get that. Right? So if it's like if it's Call of Duty and I want to unlock a gun or something, or I want to unlock a skin, I will play until I get that, and then I have it, and it's like, what did I truly gain?
Yeah.
I think what I realized I like the most is problem solving with a group on something. I think that's why I like talking to people. It's why I like working on projects with other people and collaborating on new ideas. I like working with other people on these things. That's what I found out was my real drug. I mean, the problem solving aspect and also the connection aspect, working with other people. Those were the two pieces that was really missing. And when I quit that, now I can't even get back into it because the whole thing is lost. Like there's none of that anymore. Like I played Magic: The Gathering, the card game, forever. Actually, I did. I actually made out really well on Magic: The Gathering because not only did I play at a really high level, but I started in a format that the cards increased 10,000% in value.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I actually, what I paid for everything, including my travels over a 10-year period, I got back ×2 when I exited.
Wow. I played Magic once, and I won.
I had cards that I spent 50 cents on that I sold for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But the point is that was that's an outlier. That's an outlier, right? And if I had been playing any other format, I would have lost my shirt. But you know what I would have gained still, though, because it's still face to face, is, and I still have this, I have friendships and connections and that time spent problem solving that was really helpful.
Yeah. I feel like we're trying to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like we're trying to get those connections.
Yeah.
So I think the message there is focus on what you can do to connect and make, do with others, right? Like you'll because like the community or the viewers are your other. Like, what are they participating in? That's why you watch a video, because you want to participate in them launching $1 million worth of fireworks or whatever it happens to be. Like I had a bunch of people tuning in, watching me put together a multi-tool because they wanted to participate in that process.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. It's a good process.
Yeah. I mean, the community, and even like the community around EDC, there's a lot of community around that, and social media is bringing people together through that.
Yeah. It's a tool that can be used to further the knowledge of something, which I think is important. And you obviously have a passion for it, keeping people connected and ultimately keeping people passionate about something and working together, which I think is great.
Well, inevitably, EDC is about capability, right?
Yeah.
You have more ability to do whatever it is that's part of your life. Mm-hmm. If you work in a farm, you'll do your job better. It means you'll have more time with your kids. It's all about the capability part. So it's not that dissimilar from these other things. It's building up that. Yeah. It's just.
You're right. I guess we're coming to the end. We thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Dominic, for coming on and talking to us.
Yeah, that was a good time.
It's fun.
It's been really insightful. And
do you want to have anything you want to shout out? Your Instagram, your YouTube, anything like that?
No, I'm really lucky. I have people follow me, and they're like, and they always think I'm someone special, but I just enjoy what I'm doing.
Okay.
And as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, it's all good.
Well, go check out Max Level EDC. We'll shout you out for you.
Yeah.
Go check out Max Level EDC on YouTube and Instagram. You can go to Wiseworks Films, our website, to get all of our stuff, our Facebooks.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram,
our
all that.
Instagrams, everything. And subscribe to the Wiseworks podcast channel.
Yeah. And thanks for joining us on this episode. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks.